The Boy Who Saved Baseball, Chapter 5. Within moments, the team saw heads bobbing up over the rise 3, 6, then 9, 15 heads in all. Daisy Ramirez led the way, hitting 2 sticks together. Her son, Refugio, a 10th grader, banged a snare drum clipped to his belt. Jimbo Jakes, the apple cider maker, beat the stretched skin of a tom-tom with 2 soft mallets. Boom-lay, boom-lay, boom-boom-boom. Boom-lay, boom-lay, boom-ba-boom. Behind the drummers came the only lawyer in town, Grayson Grey Dog LaRue, who ran a part-time law practice in back of his wife's hair salon. Mostly hung out on the bench in the plaza. He played a piccolo, blowing out a shrill bird-like sound. With a gray goatee and a full head of wavy hair bobbing up and down, he looked like a jazz man who'd sipped a few too many espressos. Behind Grey Dog marched a ragtag bunch of click-clacking broken broomsticks and jangling tambourines. Frankie's mom carried a red cooler, and Maggie LaRue, Grey Dog's wife, carried a big stack of tortillas wrapped in paper. Others held shopping bags filled with whatever. Off to the side, pacing back and forth, was Hollis B., the town's poet savant, who lived on 2 wooden planks in a black oak tree just outside of town. Speaking into his cell phone loudly, rapidly, Hollis B. looked like a roving sideline, turn the page, reporter, darting around, giving reports to the band's play-by-play action to an invisible audience. The cell phone wasn't exactly real, you see. Hollis B. had a habit of walking through town, waving his arms, holding lively conversations with imaginary people. In the past, he'd scared everyone from little kids in the preschool to the group of lady bird feeders who sat around the park. So one day, Sheriff Decker gave him an old broken cell phone. That way he could hold the phone up and walk around town talking like crazy and be no more annoying than a real estate agent. Tom loved listening to him and wished that he could hear his news report over the clash and clang of the band. As the group reached the ballpark fence near the dugout, Daisy Ramirez held both hands high. Halt! In 2 steps, or in some cases 3, the band and music came to a stop. She turned to the campers and called out, "Wildcats! On behalf of the citizens of Dillontown, we salute you. Not only are you our baseball team, but you represent the history and spirit of this town. And now, you are the town's only hope to retain its heritage." The last remark caused the musicians to break into a mad electric frenzy of toots, hoots, clacks, and booms. When they stopped, Daisy continued, "As your loyal fans, we are here to offer our support in order to help you prevail in the big game, the most crucial game of our lives." "Oh, geez," said Frankie. "This is embarrassing." Mr. Gallagher stood speechless. Mrs. Gallagher stepped forward. "Goodness," she said. This is very nice. We thank you." She glanced at her husband. "We don't quite know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," said Maggie, who was a great supporter of the town. She owned the In-Your-Face beauty salon, where a sign in the window read, "We'll chop your mop till you say stop." Today, her short brown hair was frosted blue and sprinkled with glitter. "You got more to do than talk to us. We're just here to cheer you on. So please, continue while we set up the barbecue grills, lay out the carne asada, some rice and beans." She tapped the red cooler and Humberto's fresh salsa. "We want to make sure the team is encouraged, well-nourished, and plays with a flourish." Shrieks, whistles, and boom-boom-booms filled the air again, but this time all the ball players joined in. "Carne asada," said Frankie. "Now you're talking my lingo." "Yo," said Will. "If we're gonna die, why not party hardy and die happy?" Maria just curled her tongue and whistled 5 times, while a few men helped Humberto unload the split-oil drum grills from the back of the trunk. Practice resumed, and the soft-skinned balls began exploding against the backstop with increasing force, particularly as the team worked its way down to the lightest stack of bats. But after 45 minutes or so, the sweet, smoky smell of marinated steak strips grilling over hot coals became too distracting. Turn the page. "I gotta eat," said Will, leaning on his bat and staring toward the pile of meat. Frankie tore off his batting gloves. "After me, mano," he started off. "Mr. G, we need a break." Mr. G was already eating. Soon the bleachers were filled with hungry ball players and their band of fans chomping down on burritos, hot from the grill, and refried beans, hot from the pan. In a few minutes, though, everyone found out that Daisy Ramirez had more on her plate than grilled steak. She approached Tom's dad and sat down sideways on the bleacher board facing him. "Jerry," she said, "I'll say it straight out. We're not comfortable with you coaching this team." Mr. Gallagher chewed slowly and swallowed. He wiped his mouth. "Excuse me?" Tom set down his paper plate. Fear gripped his insides. He knew what she meant. Everybody did. Mrs. Ramirez let out a sharp breath. "Well, Jerry, no offense, but we all know what happens in these big games over the last few years. Now, you're a great science teacher, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think you have the knowledge or the capability to coach these ball players to the point where they'd have even half a chance to win that game." All the burritos chomping stopped. Paper plates plopped. Everyone looked at Mr. Gallagher. Tom was amazed that his father didn't back away from the dagger-eyed glare Mrs. Ramirez aimed his way. Instead, he leaned closer. "Well, Daisy, I understand why you might say that, but I intend to coach these kids to the best of my abilities. Yes, my baseball skills are limited, but I've downloaded a lot of excellent drills from professional coaches across the country, and I think I've put together a good program." After he spoke, the onlookers lowered their eyes. A few grumbled. Mr. Gallagher looked around. "Well, tell me," his voice rose. "Anyone. If you think I'm not able to run this team, let me know why." Now Maggie spoke up. "Oh, Jerry, we all like you and think you're a great guy, but you need to understand. Last week we figured this town had been sold on the river and its days were numbered. Then crazy old Doc surprised us all with this last-minute curveball he threw our way. We just want our team to have a fighting chance." "Fighting chance my asthma," said Grey Dog. "We want them to win." He raised his wild-eyed eyebrows. "And Jerry, you're our friend. You've been for the development. Everyone knows that, and we just don't want to be a double-crossed." Daisy Ramirez cut back in. "What Maggie and Grey Dog are trying to say is that these are the days of doom, like in the prophecy. And as the town historian, I need to make sure we pay heed to the warning." "Prophecy?" Mr. Gallagher flicked the back of his hand her way. "That bunch of garbage? Come on, you can't be serious." She kept talking. We all know that as of now, your intentions are to help, but over the years, the prophecies of Blackjack Buck have been shown to be historically accurate. And since the death and doom prophecy mentions a double cross at the last minute, well, we just can't take that chance." "Oh, that's absurd," said Mr. Gallagher. "Look, I'm in favor of saving this town. To put it mildly, our economy stinks. We're nearly bankrupt, and we need more than one or two new shops. We need something big. A golf course is big. Construction is big. Bring in tax revenue, that's big. But it's all beside the point. Right now my focus is on winning this game. And why shouldn't it be? Chances are if this deal falls through, there'll be another one right behind it." Suddenly everyone was talking at once. It turned out whether or not they thought Tom's dad was the double-crosser mentioned in the death and doom prophecy, almost no one thought he would or could give the Wildcats a snowball chance in El Centro, as Grey Dog put it. Not even Tom, he had to admit. "If we want to win," said Jimbo Cakes as he passed around cups of apple cider, "I say we get the El Cap High School coach up here. Or maybe Coach Gwynn from State." That comment caused another storm of jawing finger jabbing. "Have we got time for that? I could make a few phone calls." "But they won't work for free. Who has the money?" Finally, Mr. Gallagher stood. "Look, if any of you have the kind of baseball knowledge you're talking about, or if you want to go out and round up someone who does, feel free. But until you do, I'm in charge here. And as far as my commitment to this team, I intend to make sure they're well coached and well prepared, and that we played to win." He walked down the bleacher boards and onto the ground. As he strode, he shouted, "Wildcats, meet me in the field in 2 minutes." No one had much to say after that, except Hollis B. He dashed behind the bleachers, bent over, and spoke into his phone. "The fix is in," says Daisy, "and them," says Gallagher's gang, "ain't got the stuff, ain't up to snuff. Gonna get bulldozed over like fresh cream puffs." Cruz's eyes opened wide. He elbowed Tom. "Who is that guy?" Tom shushed him with his finger to his lips, and he and the others watched through the bleacher boards. Hollis B kept dancing. But Gallagher says he's got the chops. Says he'll pull out all the stops. His team will be ready to take the crown. And I say, boys, lay your money down on Dillontown. I gotta go. With a whip and a snap, he shut the phone and high-stepped it out of there. Over the boundary burn. Whoa! Cruz looked around and grinned. That's what I call talking. That's talking like we were born talking. Who is he? That's Hollis B, said Ramon. He lives in a tree. Yeah, he's out of it most of the time, added Rachel. Cruz was still smiling. Well, I like his style and his prediction. Really, you guys, I don't see why we can't beat any team we face. The others were too polite to respond. But they shared knowing looks, then began moving down toward Mr. Gallagher, waiting on the field below. Cruz, however, casually resumed munching on his burrito. Tom gathered some trash around him, crunched up his paper plate, and prepared to leave as well. But before he could rise, Cruz leaned over and whispered, "You know where Dante Delgado lives, right?" Tom nodded. Cruz pointed with his burrito, off toward Rattlesnake Ridge. "Think you could take me there? In the dark?" Dun dun dun.